Lots of talk in the chat at the moment about player pants and standardized pants. What do we think the best pant for an esports player is?
Sweatpants.
Sweatpants?
Yeah.
As in like
You're not allowed to wear
tracksuit
track pants at the OPL.
Or like real comfy padded sweatpants. You know, those like ones you see from like,
Almost like joggers.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the ones from
No,
like
but
Nike and stuff.
What part of that do you not understand? You're not allowed to wear them at the OPL.
What about fancy joggers?
So you have to wear like jeans or chinos, is I think what the rule set says. But Nick,
Yeah.
the best pair of pants that you could possibly wear at the OPL.
Okay. Is this a brand?
I don't
is
even
this
have to
is
say
this
it
a
anymore
plug?
because you guys all knew.
Melbourne pants.
Great pair of Puma. I like black jeans.
Yeah, they're a classic. They go with everything.
Black jeans are the
Literally,
best.
Look how good
And
we
you
look right now.
You can roll them or you can not roll them.
How friggin' good
they're
we look. Look
versatile.
how basic you guys look.
Yeah, these are basic pants. You're not wrong.
Those are couch pants, Rusty. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You do look like the couch, and they look solid grey on camera. Or maybe we just have really bad.
Oh no,
they're all right.
they look good. I can see the checkers.
Yeah, show me. Let's take a look at.
They don't look like the couch. They're a bit shaky, actually.
You
Bit
stole my
shiny.
drink.
I did. The chat is saying PJ pants, says tempura burn, footy pants, tights.
Tights are the
Tights.
winning
I'd be
option.
a big
Dos
fan of
used to
tights.
wear a pair of lucky red shorts.
Really?
Yeah, he wore them to all the international
Yeah.
events. And then the story goes, he went to one international event and they were like, you can't wear those on stage. And then he lost and he was like heartbroken.
It was like it was the pants. Couldn't he
Yeah.
just wear them underneath? Like wear a slightly baggier pair
Or
of
over
jeans
the
or something.
top.
Or over the top. There you go.
Black
Reverse
pants.
Superman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, we're onto something. Okay. Up next, pick or ban all death. Banal death. Pick or banal death. I've got a list of champions and a list of weird ways to die. Each round, you need to tell me which number is higher, the amount of times a champion was picked in Split 2 of the 2019 OPL,
Okay.
or the amount of times that someone
Has died.
died because of this thing. There we go. We got this. We got the
How you
rules straight.
explained it
It's
and,
clear.
and Spawn's reaction sums it up perfectly. Eh?
First one is red pants. No, okay.
That was
Let's get-
Ejim's name
Yeah.
for a while.
Red pants?
Yeah, his name was Red Pants for a while.
That's nice. Let's do the first one. Please bring up the champ and the way to die. It's Braum or balloons? What's
How
the
do
higher
you die
number?
from
I don't know
balloons?
how you die to
Balloons.
balloons.
I'm going to say choking on balloons. It actually is a hazard for kids because kids
Yep.
like to.
Well,
buy
thanks for
them.
making that dark. But yeah, totally.
Yep, definitely.
Well,
hot
you-
air balloons
hot-
falling out of a hot
So-
air balloon.
So this is specifically only like party style balloons.
Ah.
Holding on to too many balloons and floating away.
Oh,
I
feel,
saw that movie once.
Yep.
I think, it had a dog that could talk. And
I feel like
There
it
you
was
go.
animated.
All right. What's the higher number? Braum
Braum.
picks.
Braun.
There it is.
Oh.
Well, the
Oh,
answer
wait,
came
wait.
up almost
It
straight
just
away.
beat
Was it Braum?
It was Braum. Well done. Picked 9 times. 3 deaths of balloons last year. Second up, Lee Sin.
Is this global deaths?
This is deaths in the US, just according to the Bureau of Statistics.
Okay.
Lee Sin or ladders?
Oh, ladders are dangerous.
Ladders
I
are
feel
definitely
like
dangerous.
It has to be ladders.
I
But there was
feel
a
like-
lot of league.
Yeah, I feel like
That's a tough one, actually. Eh?
I'm going with ladders. There
Going
wasn't
with
actually that much Lee.
I'm gonna go ladders.
It was
well.
more of a
Yeah.
Sejuani year, right? And Sejuani beats
yeah.
Lee.
Is this split 2?
Yeah.
Split 2, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably ladders.
You'd be right with ladders. Ladders 113. Lee Sin 13.
Wow.
Unreal. Yeah, I knew that was going to be high. Ladders are death traps.
You don't want to
You
climb
played
up a friggin'
ladder lease in before.
Number 3, Gragas or falling televisions.
Definitely Gragas. Gragas was picked every game because Direwolf's jungler's name was. What was Direwolf's jungler's name?
Oh my god.
Really good play in Korea, and then came to OS and destroyed everyone.
We'll just.
Why can I not remember his name?
Oh, this is so unprofessional.
It was. It was on the tip of my tongue. Totoro and
Raise.
Kitsuri.
Raise. Actual Raise,
Oh.
not weird spelt Raise.
Yeah.
Raise is in Raise. He played Gragas and like inspired the whole region because he was like the best Gragas I think I've ever seen.
And where did he go?
Nick, I didn't know his name. You can't ask me to
I think
keep you up to date with his
How
life
many
story.
people die to a falling television?
I think it's still a really poor advert for Sky TV. So I feel like
Okay, good.
You're gonna
No
get-
one here knows what that is.
So we're saying Gragas?
yes.
Yeah.
Gragas?
Yeah, definitely
I
Gragas.
just don't know.
The answer is falling televisions. 29
You're kidding.
compared to 27 Gragas.
But what is what is a
Yeah,
falling
there you go.
television?
Wait, so is this people like checking out like these like big apartment complexes and like yoink?
I mean, I don't know, like pushing it out of a plane. Maybe some YouTuber who's like, oh, let's attach parachutes.
oh my
This would be
god, I
fun.
don't get enough views and likes and comments. Psh.
Yeah, or
Hey,
just
we
like
should
lift
do
it
that.
high. There you go. We could try that. That'd be content. Next one.
Damn.
Corky or champagne corks?
Champagne corks.
Champagne corks.
Definitely champagne corks. They're
Okay.
dangerous.
You're all very confident. How many do you reckon?
I reckon there was like 200 champagne
Wait,
corks
how do you
down.
die?
Yeah.
How do you die? Like I'm
What do you
assuming
mean?
like it hits your eye. And
Eye
it's like,
or throat.
oh,
like-
your throat will
Yeah.
force. Yeah.
What if you were chasing it and it just went like over a cliff? I don't know.
But that you
How do
technically
you
didn't
open
die
your
to the
bottles?
cork. You
That's
died
true,
to
you died
gravity.
with a foul.
You
Yeah.
gravity.
Say,
yeah,
it's like, yeah.
Gravity got you with that one.
The-
56
39.
deaths to the cork.
Okay, well, at 56, you think 200. You're closest. The correct answer was corks, but it's only 24.
Corks aren't as dangerous as I thought they were.
Yeah, corks are fine.
Yeah, that's why corky's not in the meta.
Neither corks are dangerous, to be honest.
Nautilus or hot tap water? Just hot tap. Hot tap.
Just
I don't
so
think
not
that-
even like kettle.
Just a hot tap.
Nah, you don't
You
die to a
can't
hot
die to
tap.
that. That's a 0 versus Nautilus. Maybe it's a tie. I reckon 0-0.
You reckon nil all?
Was Nautilus picked?
I don't know. I'm just
I'm
making
gonna go
stuff
Nautilus.
up now. This segment is worse than Nick Fair, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Trying to
Sorry?
remember split 2 OPLs in
Nautilus.
Nautilus. I forget what I have for
You
breakfast.
reckon Nautilus?
Definitely naughty.
Yep.
I'm going to go hot water for no reason.
Okay, well,
Hot tap water.
well, Rusty, you got it, buddy. 100 versus 27 picks
How?
of
They
Nautilus.
must have dirty water.
What are they doing?
Like recycle, like someone hooked up a new housing estate,
Yeah.
and they put, this is a cold water and it goes to cold water. This is a recycled water. It goes to the like recycled / sewerage water.
Yeah.
Oh my god, 100 people have died.
They
in
This
this
is the
day.
tap with methylated spirits.
Yeah,
and we put
exactly
a
right.
red thing
There's
on.
one tap, yeah.
Well, there you go. And Nautilus, 27 picks. He was picked a lot. That's a lot of picks for Nautilus. The final one, ergot or being left-handed.
How do you die to being left-handed?
It's a good question.
Life's just a little bit harder.
Also, I'd like to
goes
point
for the
out that
handshake
ergot,
and you just-
after the rework, left-handed. So there's the connection.
Is
Maybe.
it really?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
because I do my research, man. One of us does. I know the
Maybe-
jungle of the 2019 Direwolves.
Maybe they get involved in fights because they're doing like the awkward handshake like this,
Interesting,
and the
yeah.
guy's like, "How would you disrespect me like that?" And then knocked out, lights out, gone.
So it's a slap to the honor
It's
of
like
the
an
opponent.
ego thing. Like, how dare you
What
abuse
about
me?
it's because you Pac-Man them, right? When you're left-handed and they come at you with the wrong hand, you can't, like, just Pac-Man.
Oh,
Well, you guys seem to have it's a lot about just shaking. We've got to
handshaking's
broaden our thinking here.
Nah, I reckon, I don't even remember what the champion was, but the champion.
Ergot.
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 Yeah?
Yeah,
it has
yeah,
to
definitely
Got to
ergot.
be ergot? This is my favorite one. Ergot, picked twice. Death due to being left-handed, 2,500.
How?
So,
What does that even constitute?
Please explain.
is everyone here left-handed?
No.
Nah.
Yes.
Really?
He's so worried.
So I don't write with my left hand.
Yep.
I write with my right hand.
Yep.
But I kick with my left foot and I punch with my left hand. And I fought my whole life. So like I would say I am more left side dominant.
Okay, because it's not just writing. It's like, I feel like, isn't the test like just reaction?
But
like,
like-
if I came at you.
But like if I throw a tennis ball, I throw it with my right hand. If I play golf, I play left-handed with left-handed sticks. If I play cricket, I play it left-handed. So what's the question
So,
here?
so Zero and Pure Origins, clearly left-handed in the chat. Left-handed people live shorter lives. So right-handed women tend to live 5 years longer than left-handed women. Right-handed men live 10 years longer than left-handed men.
No one said cause of death left-handedness.
Yes, statistically, it's because they live in a world designed for the right hand.
So you're saying there's too many hazards in the world?
There's just the assumption is, in the same way that technology is designed around the idea of a male build, so most technology is built with the idea of white men in mind.
Here we go.
Most things in the world are built with the idea that a right-handed person is going to interact with them. And
Remember,
that causes
guys,
2,500
we value
deaths.
all your feedback, and the only way we can stop segments like this is if enough of you complain.
I need to
So
let-
please, write to the Nick Bag. We're doing 2 segments tomorrow. Make sure that you write in about this segment.
Give Nikki a close-up, just on the host cam.
There's no host cap. Oh, there is.
This is happening every week. So please send me your weird ways to die so that I can make sure that Jake, at the end of this, is a fan. All right, it's time to get into game number 3. Pentanet versus AV. Let's hope there's no left-handies on the Pentanet lineup. Skimmy.
Yes.
Talk us through.
Well, Pentanet GG are rocking Biopam from the top lane, Sully in jungle, Getback as the mid laner, Praetor is the ADC, and Rogue as the support.
There you go. That's a good team. Good team last week. Got some wins.
I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup today, actually.
And win.
And win,
Yeah, well, some wins, some losses. They only played twice. They're on the couch for one of them. They are going up against AV. Jake, talk me through the AVs.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Draku, best Mordekaiser in the top lane, Lisa in the jungle, Chaz it up in the mid lane, Guncrab and Appy in the bottom lane. Coach Max going to be with the boys. And I think this is a lineup that had moments last week, but wasn't really able to carry it through in a lot of those moments. I think Guncrab in particular would have been kicking himself because he had a couple of really good early games and he would want to convert games like that.
Who are we tipping for this one? Is it Perth or Sydney?
I mean, I'd be looking at Pentanet. I think that the moments is the key feature here because a lot of the bottom teams right now are having small moments and not translating moments into something tangible. And I think that's a similar thing until AV fixes it.
And I don't often call that an player, but Dragku, in my opinion, has got one of the highest ceilings of Oceanic top laners, which if you're an Oceanic League of Legends fan, you know is a lane that we have been destitute of talent for the longest of time, right? So I have such high expectations of this guy. He needs to be able to translate it to stage. If Avant have a shot in this split at all, I thought they could be a really good team, but he needs to step up and play better than he did last week.
Let's see if he can step up, and we'll find out right after this short break for game number 3.
Jumping into the Macca's Champion Select for game number 3. Pentanet GG taking on Avant Gaming. A must-win, you'd argue, for both of these teams to kind of showcase what they've taken away from week 1, set their own expectations, and prove where they, in a way, Rusty, are destined to end.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You look at the expectations of both of these teams. I think the Pentanet will hold themselves at the current moment in a little bit of a higher regard, comparing both of these teams with their standings and where they want to be. But that's not to say that AV are down and out for the count by any means. We have seen a lot of positive moments, and I just wanted to bring back the point that I was raising on the couch just before. Those moments that they've had have actually been a little bit more frequent than what you would say the bottom of the table teams of Gravitas and Mammoth have been.
Yep.
So that potential is real, it's tangible, it's there. And now they have an opportunity against Pentanet, who haven't been the top of the table clean teams, to really stamp their mark and say we can take down other rosters and get those wins.
It's interesting, actually, if we quickly look over the bans going into this one, the fact that Aphelios is taken away, so instantly Senna picked on up. Not on patch 10.3 yet, so no changes to her, so still going to be as strong as ever. But also the Soraka ban. We've been seeing a bit of a resurgence with top lane Soraka, so incredibly annoying to go up against.
Yep. One of the highest win rate champions right now in the top lane is Soraka. We've seen it a little bit in the LEC. We saw it attempt, I believe, in the LCS. I do not remember if it won. I believe it lost. But it does leave open the likes of the Lucian that has been pretty much permanently banned in the OPL in the first 2 weeks.
And this is something I wanted to highlight as we got into this pick and ban phase as to what sort of archetype we're looking for both these comps. Pentanet GG have typically drafted these scaling compositions, banking on the fact that they know exactly what they're going for, whereas Avant, they want their early game aggression. They really want to sort of convert that into that mid-game moment and try and close things out. Doesn't seem that we've strayed too far away from that for the meantime.
No, we're pretty much bang on that right now. We've got a Karthus in the first 3 on the opposing side with a Senna, so they get range, they get damage as the game goes on. They're going to get stronger and stronger. Contrast that to a Lucian who's strong from level 1 in his respective solo lanes, primarily a solo laner, so keep that in mind. And the Elise, just ganks. Ganks galore, going to be everywhere. That's what you want to see from AV, that's what you expect from the players, not just the draft. And so it's very good to see that once again.
Yes, an incredibly strong bot lane to allow Elise to have free reign. You'd want to now see some strong mid laner action to add to that, to make sure that they can find skirmishes no matter which lane they go to.
Kiki going to hit the bench as well here from AV with their first ban in the second ban phase. Waiting to see where that Lucian does go and if it is just going to be an AD carry, in which case wouldn't be shocked to see another AD banned here by Pentanet, the Misfortune, the last remaining one. And it makes you question where to now. There's the Ashe, it's always going to be potentially available, the Varus that we saw in the last game as well, but those options start to become a little bit more limited. However, if you watched the OPL in 2019, it's Gunkrab. He'll bring out a Ziggs randomly, and you'll be like, oh right, that's Gunkrab. I forgot, he plays it all.
Definitely trying to target Gunkrab's hero pool there, but he's free to choose what he likes after we see this final one. Aatrox taking out the mix as well, and a Veigar removed. Veigar being so incredibly annoying last time we saw it, how it could basically just shut down that middle lane. And if you want to engage, if you want to get aggressive, bad news, you can't.
It makes scaling pretty difficult because it just scales up with you and prevents a lot of the team fight access. It usually goes against the champions like Akali and Azir very well, but this is another champion that has slipped through the cracks just a little bit through this draft phase. And we've gone for the Pantheon, and then we've just rounded it out with a Shen.
Incredible, Rusty. These are some very interesting picks, to say the least. We've got a bit of a hybrid between early and late game for scaling and for damage. And I think something that you always have to highlight with the likes of a Pantheon, you kind of want to play around him, right? You really want to make sure that he has that very strong mix going into level 6. Obviously, the major things that spring to mind for me with Pentanet GG is they want to control the map. You've got triple global threats. They're going to be looking to try and force skirmishes, almost kind of expecting Lisa's Elise to be aggressive, and then respond with the likes of a Calf Assault, a Shen TP, and a Praetor Ultimate too.
Yeah, they have a lot of answers across the whole map when it comes to team fighting. AV want to be in closer proximity, so that is going to be a pretty big difference here as lanes play out, but in that raw 5v5, it is just going to be heavy skirmishes in your face, brawly type of League of Legends. And it's an Ezreal that actually rounds out the composition here from AV. Could have been any champion, could have been the Ashe, but it's not very easy to survive as an Ashe against your opponent's comp, so he goes for the Ezreal. Self-sustaining, able to keep himself alive. It does mean that Lucian will be the primary focus through the early game here. You'd expect from the Elise, maybe even from RP to get some roams up, maybe even from Dragco and the Ornn to get some roams down. I would expect that they look to that Pantheon and try and get him behind. And Sully, most importantly, you would have to expect.
Yeah, that Ezreal's a nice little flex pick. When the champion pool being limited to what it was, you want mobility, you want the ability to try and make something happen and not really get caught out by what Pentanet GG have to offer, and they have a lot. So, strong moments for them to showcase in this game. Very excited to see if their global threat can actually overrun the aggression that Avant are looking to try and run as a 5-man death ball.
It will be the big part of the game here, is the contrasting styles of both of these teams and how they clash.
Well, we do have Western Way on standby. Big fan. Obviously, we've heard a lot coming into this one as the coach of Pentanet GG. You come into this one here, obviously a very clear idea as to what you want to achieve. How do you feel this sort of tailors up against a very aggressive composition like Avant?
Yeah, so this was a strategy which we kind of specifically designed, like which we thought would be really good into Avant. So we've just been picking it like all week, practicing, yeah, just playing this comp out.
We haven't had many opportunities to talk to you specifically, Western Way, and the things that you bring to the team of Pentanet, but we heard from Rogue last week on the analyst desk that he rates you very highly since your return to Europe. So talk us through briefly, you know, what has this trip to the LEC done for you?
Yeah, so just when I was over in Europe, I got to meet some really impressive players that knew a lot about the game, like particularly like when I got to work with like Yanan and Kasing, and they just taught me just almost like an entirely new way of looking at the game. I felt like when I was in Oceania, you know, learning things from watching scrims from other Oceanic coaches, things like that. But the way that they play the game in Europe is a lot different. It's a lot more punishing, a lot more fast-paced. And yeah, I feel like I've really kind of adopted that style into my coaching.
It doesn't have to be specifics, but do you think the key difference is the pace? Like wanting to punish everything, not just bigger picture? Or
Yeah, no, they definitely push everything to limits. And it can just be bigger picture things like in terms of how they do the macro. It's a lot more punishing.
Now let's highlight obviously this game in particular here. So we've got a Pantheon in the mid lane, obviously incredibly strong in that mid game. In that early game, are we looking to try and really play around him, like he's the central point of this comp to really get you guys going?
I mean, Pantheon is a champion that kind of enables the other lanes, right? Like he's a champion which has the global on mid lane, so similar to other champions that pass like Galio, he helps the side lanes get further ahead.
I'm looking forward to this one, and we'll leave you to it. Best of luck. And we'll catch up with you afterwards. Let's jump into it. Pentanet GG taking on Avant. It's game number 3 for week 2.
And we do have to continue to highlight what Western Way mentioned here is that the Pantheon will want to go to the other lanes. But it's not just that, it's that they've got a Shen that also doesn't mind having a dip into another lane as well. So you think about this, you look at their composition from top to bottom, and it just kind of reads itself for you, right? It congregates in a single place, probably on Rogue or Praedyth down in the bottom lane, probably the 2v2 down here, and it's already happening. We're 2 minutes, 25 seconds into this game, already happening.
Sorty's just rocking up to that bot lane like, hey, you think I want to power farm to 6? I'm here to take plates. I want to put some pressure out. I want to get that job done. But I think the main thing for me here, Rusty, is you've got to be so concerned about the fact that once level 6 comes online, Biopanther and Get Back both have teleport available as well. So any time Avant try and force an engage, they're in a lot of trouble because there's a lot of ability for them to get in that mix. As Get Back is going to chase on through.
My man's isn't farming. He's playing Karthus right now, and he's just on the grind. He's
out ganking an Elise.
He's invaded the bot side. They did that at level 1 while we were having the interview. So remember, there was a 3-man down there. That advantage, that vision that they got on a vertical jungle split gives him pressure to the bottom lane turret. Unexpected, so successful. And then he just waddles mid. Who expects that if you're Chaz as well? And suddenly, this non-teleport mid laner of Chaz running the cleanse on Lucian has to walk back to lane. Pantheon in a comfortable position, at the very least by experience, which was exactly what they want, hitting those level 6 spikes.
I think Lisa is almost confused as to how this has happened. The fact that, why is the Karthus so proactive in this early game? But it is, as you say, playing into the idea of let's try and get these level 6 solo liners online as quickly as possible. That way we can literally contest any team fight, any objective, any moment that skirmish breaks out.
And you don't really want to go for the counter gank too aggressively here if you are Lise. You know, it was a known vertical jungle split. Get Back and Sully right now looking towards bottom lane as well, but AV are very much in tune to this, so it's just going to be some platey boys. And then a recall most likely here from Get Back. They may try and cancel him, but no Ezreal Qs to be thrown just yet. So what I'm saying here is that Lisa probably doesn't want to go for the counter gank. It's really hard to counter gank a Karthus and a Pantheon because they might just turn and kill you. And if you kill the Karthus, he's still just going to turn and kill you with the Pantheon running you down. So you want to get the proactive ganks off yourself. You want to be there first to the punch. So he's going to look for his own opportunities. That's why it seems like currently he's pretty much inactive, where really he's just been hard farming and is being matched because it's a Karthus anyway.
So, teleport burn already on Get Back to mid lane to keep up that priority. Keeping up so far with Chaz. Nothing too major at this stage, but you can see every single time that jump's available, he's going to jump on in. Chaz looking to try and find that early game advantage with the double autos. He can't do anything. The shield goes up, and he's the one biting off more than he can chew.
Yeah, you can never dash forwards as the Lucian in this lane. You want to be able to dodge the spears as best you can. W is really your poke tool, and then tempt the double taps. You have to try and play around the long cooldown of that Pantheon E, but that's hard. That is pretty hard to do, especially when there's been constant pressure, a forced recall. Killing a Pantheon is a slow grind of an affair, and it's been interrupted very early.
Now, this is something I kind of expected, the fact that you have the Nautilus for that reliable engage with the hook. Same could be said for Leona. You want to sort of accentuate and jump in there with the Elise and make something happen. No Moby boots, though, so not going to be as as freely accessed as you would like. But Shen, obviously every single time he's got the barrier up, going to deny everything that Draco can do and make sure that his power 6 spike is just null and void.
And very afraid is the mid-jungle, wow, I can't even pronounce it, jungle support duo of Lisa and Uppy. They were inside down in mid-jungle, they swept on the way out where they were spotted by a ward. The Raptors were up the entire time and they didn't want to take those away because Pentinet's bot lane had just reset. So there's nowhere for them to want to be. All they're doing right now is being vision bots and then resetting, where the farm is still going into the hands of Sully, where the farm is still getting him closer and closer to the level 6 point. It's 5-4, and he's ganked twice.
I don't understand it, Rusty, at this stage. You know, you've got this composition that wants to really make things happen, but it feels like you're beating yourself up mentally before it's even started. You're just so scared of the vision being one factor, but just the global threat being the other. And Pen and GG go, well, this is fantastic to us because we can just keep scaling on up. So the infinite there on center. And so, well, if you're going to give up priority, then we can try and be the one in the driving seat.
He's genuinely just sitting in that bush and has been for so long.
And that CS count is just going to keep on going down. He's desperate to make something happen. But this is no bot lane priority.
He's trying to protect his bottom lane, trying to protect his mid laner because of the early work done here and the early threat that's available. And now they will move towards bot side together. They'll get spotted by wards. It's just about clearing vision. They actually bring the Lucian down. Oh, the hook connects.
The hook does connect the Flay to respond. Now both junglers don't have level 6, so this could be a bit of a turning point. But here comes Pantheon! He jumps into the backline and does what he does best. Shield up, first blood in the pocket, taking on 4 boys as he flashes on out. The healer's clutch from Praetor, and the rogue disengages better. But here is BioPanther, and he says hello. Globals are the deciding factor, and it looks so good for Avant, but this is the threat that PGG have.
And an early teleport from Draku is a very big deal there, because BioPanther will be very quick if he comes in to join the fight. Disadvantage now here, though, towards top lane, as he's just going to be able to teleport back up top with the Tiamat if he wants to and clear the wave, but he's going to keep the teleport. So they retain bot pressure. This is AV in their one window of opportunity where the resets have gone through, where they're going to abuse that fact, delay their own reset timers, and try and sneak away the dragon.
I like this. I like this a lot because it gives you some objective to chase after. It gives you a focus to work towards, and it makes you feel like you're definitely not down and out.
It does mean, though, as we'll go into the replay first, it means that Herald could be taken. So we'll see this fight once again. Teleports pretty early here. Similar timings to that of the Shen coming in. But because there's a Pantheon as well, he just comes into the backside of the team fight, gets a cheeky kill, and suddenly the fight's just impossible. Close to getting Rogue, I will say, from that culling out of Lucian. But in the end, it wasn't really a chance.
And
he still had the flash.
How different could that script be if they had actually picked up those 2 kills there on Get Back and Rogue? You know, the script would have been definitely in Advanced favor. The early game advantage that they're looking to try and drive home forwards would have started to go towards them, as you mentioned. Yeah, no teleport burn. Definitely a priority towards that Rift Herald, as the control will just get dropped in it now. But we're working towards Moby Boots, which Rogue has in his arsenal now. So may, as we start to get later on into this, see him matching what Appy does.
And this is, you know, it was mentioned by Western Way, it was a big draft specifically for the likes of AV. And if we think back towards week 1, what happened for AV to have those threats, those moments where they looked really strong? Well, a lot of it was Gunkrab playing Aphelios, Gunkrab being able to get kills, big threat to the enemy team.
Yep.
This composition by Pentanet designed to stop that from happening. Very difficult to be an AD champion down there. Has to go to the Ezreal, running the Korean lethal tempo Ezreal build. Well, he's not online at all.
No.
And suddenly, AV, not nearly where they were when they had those strengths in the early game.
Definitely.
Lisa was pretty much picking one lane, in fact.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely like the fact that they've sort of tunneled him into this direction because, you know, Ezreal being one of those champions that needs to really unlock some items. Obviously, the tier being the major component before he starts working into Triforce and the rest. And, you know, you're delaying that strength, which Gunkrab has been so well known for. So we highlight then what Jake said on the desk before. Dragu has to be the focus priority target here. He's definitely up in CS so far, about 400 gold to his name. It's whether or not the Ornn ultimates as they come through later on can be impactful enough to turn the tide of a fight.
Well, there isn't anything that blocks them, so that will be nice. There's no Braum in this game against the Ornn. It's a little bit easier to execute your own ultimate. You can just press it on cooldown. That'll be nice. Lisa now going to start the Rift Herald. Api has already rotated towards the Herald itself, and Pentanet are just going to be pushing bottom as 3. Sully is a lane goblin. That man was mid lane, he took some farm, he pushed the wave in, immediately goes towards bottom, is pushing the wave, stealing some farm here and there. He's understood that the jungle experience right now, it's like, why would I bother when I could just take it from all of my laners? And it's not bad because he's Karthus.
But it's not. Obviously, his ultimate Requiem is going to put out major numbers to really solidify the end of these team fights if they don't work in their favor. But it's almost like a scuffed version of fuddling XP, right? You know, you're just coming on through, taxing the department, saying, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Thank you very much. I'm online, and I'm putting out so much more than what this Elise will be able to do later on into this game.
We'll have to see how that does continue to perform. Elise does complete the jungle item now and has got the brown leather boots. So, not the worst position for the Elise at the current moment. Still comparable to that of his opponent in Sully, of course. But like you mentioned, the scaling difference is significant. Item Spike's definitely going to be there first for the mid laner of Pentanet, as it's a lethality build, quite cheap. Compare that to the Blade of the Ruined King with Doran's for sustainability. So right now is a pretty good window of opportunity, is what I'm saying for Pentanet. Utilize their comp, the ultimates are coming back online, they're ready to go. Pick a lane, and that's the lane. And if history repeats itself, it is push bottom in, make sure the wave is trimmed, push top in with your Tiamat, maybe recall, and then go to where the Thresh is, go to where the center is.
I think this is going to become a little bit scary as we start to get later on into this one with the double TP threats that they have. To be able to basically win a team fight, then go back to split pushing, and just never, ever let the pressure stop. But as you say, you're definitely waiting for those 2 AD carries on the side of Avant to come online, and this is that window that PinNet GG want to basically execute upon with that Drake soon to spawn.
And I think if you're AV right now, there's a good opportunity to use the Herald that Lisa has got in his back pocket. You need to clear mid. You keep Elise around there as well first to make sure that it's safe, of course. And then I think you go as a unit with Appy and Lisa, maybe even take Gunkrab with you to bot lane to summon that Herald. So I just don't think you're going to get a chance to use it in mid lane. You don't want to go where Pentanet wants you to with their composition. So this may be one of those rare moments where it's just objectively better, as hang on a second.
That's a lot of ultimates coming out right there. Karthus followed by Senna, and it's going to be a dead Pantheon. Feeling a little bit too confident there with what their composition had to offer. He tried to collapse onto Chaz. He does get it, but he dies at a very decisive moment with Drake spawning.
And it's mid laner for mid laner in the end. And it was summon is used by Chaz to none of Get Back. Still has the ultimate. Dragon spawns. Pendanet are in the correct position for this one. Now, it was still the Karthus, Senna, and Shen ultimates that were burned. However, because the teleport was also used from Gunkrab to get down to bot side, they get some mid lane priority, and still they find themselves in a decent position, all things considered.
Assist picked up, so a nice function of gold as the Herald finds a little bit of value, executing in the bot lane with both mid laners obviously being taken off the board. But now we're waiting for buys. As we're going to see Shen TP back now. Get Back obviously having respawn coming on through, working towards that next lethality item. Pings are furious around this next Drake, which is an Ocean.
The Ornn is missing from top lane by Panthers choosing to push the turret, get some plates. Ornn had walked here already with the teleport up, so that's why they were being so cautious, Pentanet. They didn't want to face check anywhere because they would just die. They'd want to bring Biopanther down. He doesn't have the ultimate. Teleport would take too long. So I think they're pretty content here, just continuing to get those plates. I mean, it's 2,000 gold between them with an Ocean Dragon that falls. The only real risk here is that was the second dragon that goes over to AV. They're getting closer to that 4 Drake mark, and it is an Infernal Rift. So they have the free Luden's Echo proc, so to speak, if they're able to get 2 more.
Opens up the map a lot as well, making it a lot harder to try and really traverse. Really plays into the eyes of what both Nautilus and Fresh are after. Finding avenues to collapse upon. But I suppose really the gold being down in the favor right now for Avant doesn't truly speak the full story. Yes, this is a composition from PinNet to try and collapse and shut down what they can do, but this is what Avant want. This is their best case scenario, is to really establish an early game lead by picking up all these objectives before the scaling really starts to take over.
Yeah, it's in the best interest of the players to continue to do that, but if they don't find gold with objectives, then what does it matter, you know? So that's what we have to continue to monitor here from AV, because it's not a tangible lead right now, it's an objective lead. Like mentioned, that's not strictly bad, but there is room for improvement there. With a lot of towers, first of all, outer turrets being available across the map, but anytime they try and push their answered, they're not looking for 1v1s. There's no particular lane where they're thinking, I can take that guy on, unless they get a mismatch, perhaps, with Lucian into another champion. But right now, it's always been Pantheon matching him.
First completed item here for Shen, so it's going to be a nice little power spike for him with a Totemic Hydra. Stopwatch, however, on Dragku, so going to make him incredibly strong. Make him a threat in these team fights when we do see a full-on, blown-out skirmish. It's been a little bit quieter than we expected, given the nature of these team compositions, but this plays into PinNet GG's best interest. They just want to keep scaling up.
AV now looking towards mid lane outer turret, while their opponents, Pentanet, without the wave here just yet. It will be a cannon wave, however. We'll be looking towards top now. You would say this definitely favors AV. They'll just continue to push this one. They need to not die, however, in the process of pushing this.
Yeah, they could definitely get called out right now. The box wasn't used. Rogue hanging on to it for the meantime. The rotation was already there.
That's the dance. That's the game that we'll continue to see. They may be able to break this turret in top lane, and it's just the ebbing and flowing up the map, across the rift with ultimates available, with global displacements and spells available. AV make the correct choice, the intuitive decision. Push mid lane, because our opponents are running up. Oh, Aegon, they could all be here in a second.
Yeah, Avant want to make something happen, and now they find it as Appy goes gold and the Ornhorn going to the backline, and that's going to be the gun that takes out Praetor. If Chaz finds that one, Chaz gets taken out by the tower of all things. As much damage as they can find as Karthus goes big, but they're not going to find what they need. They do find 2, however. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Mid and jungle for ADC. Instantly the response is, if you want to try and take our mid tower, we'll take yours.
And it feels like you can see it coming now, looking for the assassination here. Get back onto Appy. One large spear charged up. Could have done it, but doesn't quite find the mark. At the end of the day, we see Pentanet answer them and just come out with fly colors with a lot of health buff to them, and they're just going to go towards the objective again. They get the gold because they get the kills in return, and it was AV's terms where that fight happened.
You can see what Avant were trying to do. And obviously, I'll let you go ahead with the replay first of all, but...
And it's a stopwatch from Appy, right? That's a big part of the bait. Lisa's also tanked the turret. Now Chaz's turn to tank the turret. Literally just dies to the turret in a Thresh ultimate that he dashes into. They're diving. They don't really have the health bars to dive that if it's not Dragku that starts off the tank. So it's just a big mechanical misplay from them there. At the end of the day, the idea was okay, but it was too far forward.
The point I want to mention, I suppose, really is Avant, given the composition is so, or given what they're up against is so globally oriented, they always want to create pressure on the side lanes, right? So Avant really want to try and drive it home in a force to try and buy out those resources to try and get Penanet to engage. In that case, Avant getting caught a little bit there.
It means you need to be able to play the minions. You need to not just go to your side lanes and disperse. You need to be able to have proper resources put towards every side lane. So if Chaz wants to push the wave in against Get Back, he needs Lisa or Api to be hovering. But that means that mid has to be safe, right? So you play the dance with minions and vision. See if you can find any opportunity to push out a wave, and then that person comes mid. See if you can force a global spell. See if you can force an engage before they can get the global spell off. And suddenly, you might be in an okay position. Because they take that extra wave, that extra 20 seconds of setup, they're unsure. And it's hard to do, to be fair. And it's not always going to work in their favor. However, this is a good moment of exactly what they can do in a side lane while they respect in mid. And it's hard to kill an Ezreal if he's just pushing the wave by himself.
Yeah, still stacking up that tier, working towards those power spikes like the Triad Force. Going to see a gank attempt come across. And I say gank, really it's Shelly the Summoner coming on through, ready to knock heads.
Yeah, Geraldine the Heraldine will be there, and again, this is another choice from Pentanet. They have said, you can have the Drake. You can have the third Drake of the game, and we'll take another turret. They're actually going to continue to push up here. Praedyth has moved his way into the area, and Get Back is pretty much in range with his ult, but there is some pressure in mid. They're looking to keep threatening.
They are indeed. Rogue is quite strong. The Death Sentence starts things off as BioPanther looks to try and make sure that no one takes damage. Get Back gets caught on the rotate. Lisa and Chaz have his number on lockdown as Solly drops down the wall. He's looking for the Bramble to try and jump away. The disengage with the Black Mist.
Chaz
the
needs
whole
to be
of Pentanet
careful.
are running.
That was all of the summoners from Chaz used for that kill in mid lane. He could not take a hook. He would have instantly died. Just keeping them away from mid, pushing them the long way as far as possible. Get Back may have been caught looking top lane. It's hard to say for certain. But we'll see how the kill happened as Chaz uses both those summoners, just locks him down, gets the jump, and has Lisa in the pocket. So Get Back's not going to try and take that fight. There was no chance.
Does have to burn 2 summoners out of him though as a result, so still showing the threat that Get Back can emit. The top lane is now an opening with that tower falling on down. It won't obviously regenerate itself, so you're looking at a win condition that can be split upon, which once again plays into this global idea that Pentanet are going towards.
Yeah, threatening the side lane. Shen's one of those champions as well that is deceptively good at split pushing. He's a tank champion, but has gone towards the Titanic Hydra.
Yep.
There's a player in the LPL, Flandre, who loves himself a Trinity Force as a third item as well, and then suddenly he's able to 1v1 anybody in those side lane skirmishes. But Ornn's a pretty unique specimen that's quite hard to do that against, hard to push against in general. So it's not going to be just that simple in this game. You would expect him wanting to be team fighting just a little bit more, and that Titanic Hydra will just be used for the wave control. Get Back's probably the one that you'll be looking at.
I was worried there for a second as Praedyth was pushing that mid lane tower in. Obviously had the Black Mist, but up against 2 blind CCs from Elise and Nautilus, not the best. And there's going to be the Flash Flay to try and get Gun Crab. The gun comes out, the damage to follow. Requiem isn't going to be enough. He goes golden, so that's nice. Broken stopwatch in the inventory now. We're only looking at Elise, as well as Ornn, that have that to their name. As the Abyssal Mask has already been upgraded, so we're starting to work into that state where Ornn can try and balance out this gold deficit.
Yeah, the Karthus tax is starting to add up as well, right, with those stopwatches. The more that he can get to be used, the harder it is for AV to survive in team fights when those 5v5s start to happen. You mentioned the Ornn, definitely true. Definitely a place that we'll have to continue to look at. We'll see what items it is to get upgraded as well, because Guncrab might be getting himself a Frozen Fist, which is not the most efficient Ornn upgrade item. And if you were Dragku in this case, you might want to look towards Chaz first. Give him the first upgrade for the Might of the Ruined King, and then start to work your way down to Guncrab. Hopefully in the next 5 to 7 minutes he has that next item done. And you'll have the levels in time.
Massive, massive difference between both junglers here. 40 CS And you can just see the difference in terms of gold. Karthus is power farming through, and Lisa.
ADC is the place you have to look at, though. 1,400 gold difference between them.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
there's no kills on either ADC. It's just turret plates. That is a significant amount of turrets that have been taken by Praedyth with the pressure that was given to him by Sully. And it's not just the jungler that has the lead, right?
Yeah.
Which means they were playing it correctly to get the rest of his map ahead so that he's not the only threat running around.
And just bullying him, basically saying that, you know, because you're Ezreal, you're going to take a bit of time to come online. I want to come online as well, but as a result, I'll make sure that I come online a little bit quicker than you. 2 lethality power spike in the mid lane. 2 items for the majority of these boys. Now, Morellonomicon is being worked upon for the Karthus. So once those stopwatches are gone, there is no chance to find any love or life with the likes of a Bladed Rune King.
Yeah, might just be leaving it at the Oblivion Orb, though, to maximize his current damage with the level 11 Karthus ultimate. Just have that flat magic pen. Looks like Zonya's Hourglass is actually going to be the second full item that he chooses to complete. I'd like to see it left at Oblivion Orb, actually, as he builds towards his third item, maybe even that death
It's
cap,
the
you know,
book
or the
that I've heard that is not meant to be spoken about. The Forbidden Book is what I've been told.
Yes, you've been watching the LCK, I suppose.
I have.
There's a time and a place for it. They banned Soraka, so the times and places start to become limited. I think it's an easy way to look at it. It's still not the worst choice, but I would rather the Zonias into like a death cap or a void staff if needed.
Well, this has to be the talking point right now. Avant are on the hunt. How many kills? Only 7 to it.
Can we stop double warding every bush?
Yeah. They're really trying to pad those vision score stats. But I think the biggest, obviously, talking point right now has to be the fact that Avant are on Soul Point. Drake is soon to spawn. They're quite comfortable to take that one. Biopanther is just going to keep trying to burn resources. So it's like, Draku, you have to respond, because if you get the Soul Point, I will get an inhibitor. What do you prefer?
But Baron's also up. So really, they could at any moment just go over to the Baron and say, you know, you've actually got 20 seconds left. The fight is on right now.
It really is. Teleports come out. Sully goes golden to start things off with. There goes the Ezreal. He's jumping on in, looking to try and do what he can. The Carling from the backline, seemingly doing nothing at this stage as Praedyth is caught in the midst of everything. Rogue going low. He's going to fall on down. Lisa finds one. It's 4 kills so far for Avant. It's the best case scenario. It's a full wipe as Sully falls to the ground. He's unable to find anybody with the spots of Bother. Guncrab, the team of Avant, have just crushed them.
And he's just going to solo out the Drake. That's the 4th dragon of the game. The Infernal Dragon goes over to AV. They get the Soul, and Baron at the exact same time. Pensinet felt time pressed. They had to go for this fight. They didn't want to play the map. They didn't want to choose. They thought they had a pick. And then the teleport comes in and they just get wiped.
An absolute disbelief here, Rusty. This is such a big swing of the hammer. Infernal Drake to their name. Going to give them so much extra damage. And they pretty much do what they did in mid lane, but again, this time far more successfully.
And we have to watch Chaz, I think, in this fight, because you can see the tanks, the amount of work they're able to do once the fight breaks out. I was watching Guncrab hitting the spells as best he can, but Chaz is the man who was doing majority of the damage, surely. Rogue dies first. Senna doesn't even get the ultimate off. It looks like Lisa assassinated that Senna at the same time. And Dragu's teleport positioning was from the wards they set up, the wards that we saw them put down. Pentinet's engage circumvented vision. They didn't actually stop to play the ward game. They just went, and look at how that comes to hurt them with perfect teleport wards available for Dragu to come in and start the fight off.
The vision, the execution, the ability to really take everything by the storm. Everything working in their favor now, and you're looking at, what, 5 Ornn upgrades? You've got Soul Point, you've got Baron, you've got gold leads. It's swung pretty bad. Avant very happy with the spot that they're in. And this is pretty worst case scenario for Pennet with the composition they've drafted. Unable to really answer in any capacity. They've just broken apart what this comp can do.
Yeah, they've gone for the tanky options here with the Ornn upgrades as well, trying to survive through their opponent's damage. The Black Cleaver upgrade for some extra health for Chaz. The Frozen Fist from the Ezreal and the Zonias there from Lisa. So a big priority here on being able to survive and sustain through any initial bursts in team fights might be the difference between surviving or not a Karthus ult at the end of those fights respectively as well. AV, with no shortage of damage now that they've got the Infernal Soul to help their poke with an Ezreal and a Lucian to be able to throw that out as well. That's a pretty comfortable position for them, and the gold has definitely reversed back the other way.
Gonna have to see once they've gone back to the
Has
shop
sums.
how things look here. Chaz burning out the flash, burning out the cleanse, burning out everything to try and survive this onslaught here. The culling comes out too. Biopanther quite happy with that one.
Yeah, trading the cleanse and flash for just a flash of Biopanther. The threat of Pantheon coming in as well with the ultimate burn. Still something that'll be up pretty soon. That's not bad from Pentanet. That's the classic pick an area and just go there and see if you can get something. And trading summoners is not the worst choice there. However, with no hesitation, AV, like a good cooking book, they've set up a lane earlier.
And out she comes from the oven. It's executed flawlessly here. Burning so many resources in that top lane. They can say, look, we're going to force a fight in the bottom lane. Shen going to look to try and TP on in. He's going to jump on top of somebody's head. He's going to make something happen as Rogue falls away. Lisa wants him. Lisa goes golden. Lisa and Co go for this tower. They go for the inhibitor. Do they care about the fight anymore? They just want pushing power.
Yeah, they will get the inhib. They have supers threatening in mid as well. There is still 5 people alive from Pentanet, so they can't stay. They need to back away. 2 members of the team have sacrificed their lives to ensure that that push was successful. At the end of the day, it was. They got both inhibitors. They got what they were after. If that team fight was won, the game was over. So very well held by Pentanet to ensure that they get the kills and thwart any further advances.
Shen has spent so much time in the top lane really trying to hammer home the point. I need this inhibitor. I need to try and get some kind of pressure, some kind of reprieve for us to do anything on this map right now because we've given up every single objective. There's not really much for us on the map right now to actually try and contest.
There's a Duskblade third item here as well coming out of Guncrab on that Ezreal. Definitely will cap out his CDR. I can say that much for certain. Not going to provide any survivability, just extra damage and Q-poke. To me, that's we have the 4th Drake. It's an Infernal Soul.
Yeah.
I want to hit Q, and I want it to absolutely blast them. I think that's a big part of why this is a good item for them. But if you have any armor, that Ezreal won't be doing damage. They'll be relying on the Black Cleaver setting it up there from Chaz, so they'll need to be hitting the same targets to straight through any armor. And then you have to look at your opponent's builds. There's Tarbies on 3 of them at the least. Azonia's there as well. There's armor on everyone.
It's AV's game to lose right now. They've been so strong at just pulling the pin and saying, we're going in, we're forcing the fight, let's burn some resources from Pentanet. Let's try and force them to respond to us. We're going to go back and shop again. Carry on upgrading those items.
Now this is getting closer to that point in the game where you can talk about how good it has been for AV to get that turnaround fight with the Soul, but the Elder is coming. And the Elder is something that they'll want, but both teams can utilize. It's not like the Elder of old.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Any advantages that you've got from this Infernal should be in the setup, in the making of the Dragon, but if your opponents get it, things become difficult.
We're going to see it happen at around the 30-30 mark here, Rusty. It's going to be a decisive one at that. It's going to, I almost want to say, dispel this game's end.
We'll need to see how well AV are able to actually disperse all of the vision. You can see the sweepers used now to clear out the pit about a minute before the dragons spawn, so they'll have those up relatively soon as well. Full control, total control of the river, but not total control of the red side jungle yet. That's the next step, and then it's mid lane priority. If they're able to get the mid lane priority on top of all of this, then they're poised to take the Elder Dragon, or at least kill their opponents as they try and get there to look. So this wave could be the deciding feature here.
Pentanet's wards are so defensive right now. There's not even one on Drake. They're all throughout their own jungle. They're so scared of the flank. They're just so scared of this roaming squad. You can see here with the vision up,
and
they have no idea.
Who checks from Pentanet? Is it Rogue that goes in and gets Nautilus hooked and died? Is it Get Back because he's got the Banshees available?
He's in trouble. The hook. Oh, no. I just lost my voice because he got deleted. Elder Drake respawns. It's a 4v5 instantly, and you said it.
The answer is it shouldn't have been that one. You've got a very tanky Shen. He didn't even use his ultimate. They just knew that he was dead. So now they're going to try and steal it. Maybe with a center ultimate. We'll see if they throw it out. Too late. Big mistake. Pentanet really struggling in the setup for objectives. They've been playing for turrets. They've been playing away from their opponent all game. But when it comes to the crunch, if AV have any setup already in place, Pentanet are crumbling.
Look how beautifully timed it is for them just to rotate once again from Drake to Baron. Every resource is in their arsenal right now. You've got incredibly fed AD carries, you've got the protection and the peel from these bruisers. Both Chaz and Guncrab are not being touched, and if you get too close, you're going to die.
Yeah, and now we have to say it's very important that it's not just a 5,000 gold lead. It's not just the Elder and the Baron.
No.
The relative gold because of Ornn items also increases that. The range of the champions against lethality builders who scale off as well, that's increasing it even further. It's a split push type of composition from Pentanet against a team fighting composition with all of those leads in mind. AV should just win the game with this push. And we'll have to see how they execute it because this is that final hurdle for the 0-2 team here. And Pentanet have picked their bush again, something that got summoners last time.
Lisa, he's in trouble right now. Can he even get the repel off? He just gets CC'd into oblivion. 4v5, the gold lead, as you mentioned, it was up by 4k. Quite honestly, with everything you've discussed, it's at least 10 to 12. But now it's a 4v5.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a 5v5. Still a lot of pressure here from AV. They should be able to get at least the inhibitor. Bot lane inhibitor's about to respawn as well. Pentanet are now in place if they get a hook to maybe contest this one. But really, if they had 5, the game was over, and now it could actually be slowed down. If AV want to win, they have to win without Lisa.
That inhibitor was almost like a Jenga block. It came piling on up and crumbling on down once again. Top lane's already pushing for them as well. So they may look to, as carefully as possible, push this one in and look for complete super control.
Yeah, clearing the jungle as they transition between as well. Nobody has cleared the blue side jungle, however, so there are teleport wards there. If BioPanther wanted to do something cheeky, I think he'll just stay with the team, though. Good damage.
Appy instantly regretted that one as he jumped in, but Gunkreb says hello. Let's jump in with Draku, who looks to try and find things, and find him they do, as Pradev has gone down. They are looking for the third and final inhibitor. At least wasn't even there, Rossi. This is how confident they are and how strong this game is going.
Yeah, the Elder Dragon killed Pradev there on the back of it. Auto ultimate dodges the hook. Chaz now threatening. This is just game, surely.
It really is. You can see BioPanther with the dash, trying to stun, the cleanse. It's all there. Every resource being pumped into this one. Get back goes Golden. It's just not going to be enough right now. Avant had a mission. They had a mode, and they've executed it flawlessly. Hands up in the air if you're an Avant fan after this one, because Chaz is going big. That's a triple kill. That's going to be the game said and done. And that's Avant taking a convincing victory in week 2.
There you can see Chaz gets his claps. Draku out of the seat as well. AV, they are on the board with their first win of the OPL in week 2. And it was against Pentanet, this team with high expectations, high hopes from not just the viewers, but from themselves. As they're able to cement that big victory here, AV. Find some momentum.
They'll be incredibly happy with that one there. 2 very different drafts coming together. It looks so strong in the early stages for Pentanet. But Avant were able to hold on strong. They were able to achieve the objectives that allowed this competition to truly come online. And they were never able to really be dissuaded or baited in to the global threats of an inhibitor maybe going down. They always pulled the plug when they needed to. And it's paid off with a victory here.
Important win in the end for AV, but questions do have to be raised here from the side of Pentanet. It really felt like in that game, anytime that they were trying to make plays, they were using macro, they were avoiding the team fights, and they choose to take one team fight, and they lose the entire game from it.
They really did, and as a result, they became a little bit cautious to try and even, engage and interact on that same facet once more. BioPanther are going to be frustrated with the fact that he spent so long on that top lane there trying to get that inhibitor down, but they just weren't able to find it. The boys are back on the desk. I'm sure they got a lot to say, so we're going to pass it back once again to Nick and Jake.
Bit of a surprise there, Jakey. Let me just fill the time. Yeah, just wrap it up. Just Phil. Yeah, bit of a surprise there for AV, but good for them.
I wasn't surprised after I saw the draft, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, when you have, I don't know, like, what's your favorite food? We've had this conversation. My favorite food is chocolate, right?
Make it all about your favorite food is chocolate.
Everyone loves chocolate.
Chocolate's not a food.
Chaz
Chocolate's a
loves chocolate
treat.
as well, right?
Is chocolate a food or a treat?
Definitely a treat. I wouldn't say it's your favorite. I wouldn't say it's my favorite food.
No.
Yeah,
no one
okay,
would.
It's my favorite treat.
But let me run with the analogy, right?
Okay.
So global ultimates and global map presence on League of Legends is chocolate. There's only so much chocolate you need, right? If you go to a sit-down dinner, you don't want like a chocolate dinner, chocolate dessert,
Right, okay.
chocolate drink,
Okay.
right? You don't want Pantheon, Karthus, as well as Shen.
Okay.
Like one of those is an unneeded part of the chocolate recipe. So as soon as like the game was past 15 minutes and it wasn't a 9,000 gold lead and Order wasn't playing, so there was no hope of a throw as my earplug just flies out, I was pretty confident that Avant would be able to win this one.
Do you agree that all chocolate is bad in a draft?
That's not what I got from what he said, but
Okay, sure. Do you think that chocolate is the reason you won?
I definitely think the draft was good for us. Like after they locked in pretty much all the global ultis, we're like, okay, well, we're just gonna brute force lanes.
Yep.
Like mid and top's awesome. Like we just won't go bot lane. And then, well, we did at the start, which was a bit troll, but like our original game plan is like, all right, we're just gonna run down mid and then fight mid, fight dragon, fight herald. What are you gonna do about it? Like, come ult us. We're already here. Do it. Like,
What are you going to do about it?
we were really confident afterwards.
Well, the answer is that we're going to trade, right? And we're going to get our center really far ahead. But once again, this is why I didn't really like Pentinet's draft, because the idea behind putting all this gold onto center, especially if you're running, something like a Pantheon mid, who are double lethality users, which in itself is really, really bad. But then you're running it into tank, Ornn, like the sole tank that is left viable in the entire game of League of Legends. You're probably not getting through Ornn in that game. So I think that Pentanet did play towards their comp well, which was trade on bottom side. I think they went up like 1,600 gold on 80 carry alone, but it didn't really matter because of the rest of the composition.
You chanced it up real hard. I've been asking everyone, because obviously there's been a lot of team swaps over the off season. How are you finding AV life?
There's definitely been some issues so far. It's only week 2, but we're like, it's a different environment to Legacy. I'm not going to say it's like better or worse. It's different. I'm really enjoying living with everybody, and I'm hoping we get through all the problems we're currently like going into. I can't really talk too much about it, but as you can see, we didn't.
One problem.
Well, if you turned behind us in the draft, there wasn't anyone standing there. That was problem number 1. That was definitely a 5-player draft, not a coach-inspired draft. So, that's one of our issues.
But if there's ever a meta for a 5-player draft, it kind of is this meta, right? Like there doesn't seem much like, there's not much big brain going on in these drafts right now. It's like 5 good skirmish champions and like try and skirmish the game. Like, come on, you're playing Lucian mid.
Well, it's one way to play the game. Like, there's definitely other ways to play the game than just headbutting your keyboard into 5 people and seeing who can mechanics better.
Well, I'm going to say that we've just had a massive conversation about the fact that this game was won on the draft, so don't beat up your drafting abilities too much. Congratulations on the win. May there be many more ahead of you. We'll love to see you here again soon.
Yeah, I hope I can come back.
I hope so too. We'll be back right after this short break.
Don't have level 6, so this could be a bit of a turning point, but here comes Pantheon! He jumps into the backline and does what he does best. That's a lot of ultimates coming out right there. Cast is followed by Senna, and it's going to be a dead Pantheon. And now they find it as Appy goes gold and the Ornhorn going to the backline, and that's going to be the gun that takes out Praetor. If Chaz finds that one, Chaz gets taken out by the tower of all things. As much damage as they can find as Carthus goes big, but they're not going to find what they need. Teleports come out, Sully goes gold and start things off with. There goes the Ezreal. He's jumping on in, looking to try and do what he can. The Carling from the backline, seemingly doing nothing at this stage as Praetor is caught in the midst of everything. Rogue going low, he's going to fall on down. Lisa finds one. It's 4 kills so far for Avant. It's the best case scenario. Shen going to look to try and TP on in. He's going to jump on top of somebody's head. He's going to make something happen as Rogue falls away. Lisa wants him. Lisa goes golden. Lisa and Co go for this tower. They go for the inhibitor. Avant had a mission. They had a mode, and they've executed it flawlessly. Hands up in the air if you're an Avant fan after this one, because Chaz is going big. That's a triple kill. That's going to be the game said and done. And that's Avant taking a convincing victory.
Imagine if you took Coca-Cola No Sugar and full-on froze it. Well, now you don't have to. Head down to Macca's and try the new frozen Coke No Sugar for just $1. Exclusive to Macca's.